Welcome back to another episode of the Field of 68's NBA Draft Prospect Profiles for the 2023 NBA Draft. My name is Rob Dosser. I'm joined today by Randolph Childress, and we are going to be breaking down NC State guard Terquavion Smith, a 6'4" sophomore that averaged 17.9 points, 4.1 assists, and 3.6 boards while shooting 33% from three for Kevin Keatts and the NC State Wolfpack. He is projected somewhere in that early to mid second round, like in that 30 to 45 range on most of the mock drafts that I looked at. He is a guy that is about as explosive of a backcourt athlete as you are going to find in the college basketball ranks. So we are going to break down his game and talk about what he looks like as he's translating to the next level. RC, let me start you off with this. So the system that he played in an NC State, it's up and down. They like to press a little bit. They like to get out and run. Some people are worried about how that will translate to the next level. As much as I watch these NBA playoffs, seeing how often guys grab and go, get out and transition, how much it's just like this, I actually think that kind of plays into his hands a little bit. How do you see that part of his game translating to the NBA?
I think his game, that part translate. I don't think that part of his game won't be difficult to transition into because he's really good in transition. And then I also think when their offense breaks down, they're just a half-court ball screen offensive team, and they put it in their guard's hand and they make decisions. And we see in these playoffs, I mean, things break down. They want to put it in their guard's hand, call a ball screen, pick on a matchup and make a decision. So for that, I think his transition will be seamless. But he does have some concerns. I think his weight's one of the bigger things. And so we'll talk about a few things with him. But the biggest concern with him, I think, is what is he? It's one of those guys that is a natural bucket getter, and then he's trying to transition on that level. He has to be a point guard. I think that's why he came back. He improved his assist numbers. He was one of the top assist guys in the ACC this year. But at the end of the day, his natural instinct and what you would pay him to do is just be what he is naturally, and that's just to go get your bucket.
So my question there is that I think he's a modern day tweener, right? He's a guy that is not quite big enough and not quite good enough of a shooter to be like a natural off guard, to be a scorer at that level. But he's not quite a good enough passer. He's not quite a guy that's going to be looking for other people. I don't know if he's a good enough creator to be a point guard at that level. So that's my question to you. I mean, you kind of said it right there. Where do you see him fitting? Like, what is his role in the league? Is it a microwave scorer off the bench? How do you see him fitting?
You can try to make him something that he's not. I don't understand. I don't think anybody at that level will pay him to do anything. I think when taking the right shots, he's an effective and explosive scorer. He was a guy when he went on his NBA evaluations last year, he was tearing it up. And, some of the feedback was, hey, if you're going to play in this league, again, he's 6'3", 6'4", but which is fine, but he's 165 pounds. Like, that's the problem, the physicality of the league. He has his athleticism translates, but if a team draft him, I think he can be a guy that comes off the bench for you, because now you don't have to. Your playmaker can be your point forward, your point, your point power forward. There's so many different guys that handle and bring the ball up. He needs to. Can he defend the point guard, and can he make open shots? That he can do. So, like, we're going to talk about this probably every draft pick on here. Not just very few guys can just go out there and just play anywhere. But if he goes to a team where he's not having to make the decisions, and he can just play off the ball, and then, hypothetically, like a LeBron situation, playing a point, anybody with that type of guy, and he just defends the point guards and then tries to make open shots, I think he can be an effective player. But second round, I think that's where he'll end up. And how much does he physically mature and his game matures, we'll see going forward. But I think somebody will get a guy. It depends on the system. And I don't think anybody's going to draft him to try to put his ball in his hand and make him be your traditional point guard, because his natural instinct and what you would pay him for is to get you a bucket, and he can do that with anybody in college basketball.
Do you trust his jump shot? He shot 33.6% from three this year. He shot 38% from the floor, and he shot 70% from the line. That is not as efficient as you would probably like.
I trust his jump shot. I don't trust his shot selection. He has so much freedom to do that. And that's why I say, I think one of those things, you can save him from himself by taking the ball out of his hands. So I think the role of him playing with a guy that plays the point forward or whatever, and he just gets it and just scores it, has to defend a point guard. What you can think about pretty much most of these teams outside of Phoenix, someone else other than the traditional point guard is bringing the ball up the floor, and maybe Philly. So he can excel in that, and I think that will improve his statistics. I think he had so much freedom, and that's a good thing. That's one of the reasons you'd want to go play for NC State. He's going to put the ball in his guard's hands and let him play. But it's kind of like, it's funny watching the NBA playoffs. It's like that Jordan Poole shot the other night. It could be better. He found himself taking shots like that, where, some people can argue that's a bad shot. I think it's just, not everybody can shoot the way Steph can. And I think he's a victim of that as well. Having watched him play and call several of his games, he shoots 30-footers. And I think that's why his percentages is, are in the low 30s, where I think he can easily be a 40% shooter.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water, or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks. If he's just a catch and shoot guy, like bury him in the corner, catch and shoot.
Well, he can do it off the bounce a lot more. He can score, but you can just eliminate the decision making off of it. Sometimes when you're playing with a guy that playing as a point forward, when they give it to you, it's coming with a message. They've already drawn the defense at that level. He's never played with the type of talent that he'll get a chance with at that level. His issues are going to be, can he defend? And the physical difference is how much weight and how much strength can he gain to be effective on the offensive end. Again, he just a guy coming off your bench that can score, and how much willingness does he have to get his nose dirty and get out and guard? That'll dictate how long he's there, and more importantly, who he goes with.
So the defensive side, you keep talking about it. He's 165 pounds.
Yep.
Can he guard? Do you see him being a guy that can guard different positions in the NBA?
No.
Can he be someone that can guard the point and the 2 and the 3? No,
not at 165 pounds. I mean, I don't think there's 5 guys in that league that weighs less than that. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I'm sitting here now struggling to think of a guy, and I'm thinking of all the small guards, like who's 165 pounds, and he is what he is. I mean, that's why I say certain instances in certain situations, he's got to be. If someone is looking for scoring off the bench, and he has to, like, he's limited, he has to defend point guard. So I think that'll be something that he's going to have to work on in the adjustment and transition to that level, because weight-wise, he's just not big enough and physically strong enough to guard any other position. What
do you think is the best case scenario for him? The best, maybe not the exact team, but the kind of situation that you would like to see him in to allow him to thrive and maybe get that second contract?
Again, like we said, one, as he physically, I think he needs to go somewhere where he doesn't have to be the primary decision maker, right? So if he goes to any of these teams that we watch all the time where they don't have their traditional point guard bringing it up, which is most of the league now. But you get a guy that anyone plays in a point forward, or, like Milwaukee kind of has a guy, Giannis snatching and goes, and we're watching this in the playoffs. Most teams have that guy. There's not a lot of teams that just say, hey, outlet it to my point guard every time. He goes to any one of those teams, and the way he can naturally score it off the bench. Now, he can score it. I don't care where you put him. He's gonna get a bucket and can flat score. He's remind me of a Cam Thomas type of guy that you just give him. They're different guys, but they can flat out just score. He's that type of scorer. Now, he needs to be in a certain situation like Cam Thomas, and I think that's these teams are smart enough to know that. And he's going ideally for him to have success. I think that's what he needs, because he doesn't have the defensive flexibility to help you. He has to be a guy that you put on certain guys that's not going to take advantage of him inside.
Yeah, I was thinking like Miami with Bam Adebayo, or
anybody like that, any of these teams.
Minnesota
Yep.
with Kyle Anderson, like situations like that where he can just kind of come off the bench and play like 15 to 18 minutes, and some nights he's going to get you 20, other nights he's going to go 0 for 9, right?
You get him out there, he's going to be one of those guys that when you're scoring, he's going to play. Like every guy on the NBA bench right now in the playoffs. If you're scoring, you're going to play. If you're not scoring, you got to have a seat. You just got to be ready when his number's called. And so, but again, one thing he can flat out do, everybody wants scoring from their bench, and he can provide that. He just has to make that adjustment. And that's tough when you're accustomed to playing 30, 35 minutes a game, and then you're going to go somewhere and sit. And how does he handle that? But naturally scoring the ball at every level, he's just gifted at that. And I think that's going to be his success, coming from the bench, somebody else. What team fits that plays with the non-traditional point guard bringing it up?
Well, Terquavion Smith, they call him Baby T when he gets to the NBA. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep that nickname. Early second round pick. I think he's got a chance to stick. Hopefully he will. Always was a fan of Terquavion Smith. Thanks for checking out this NBA draft prospect profile. Make sure you check out the description for links to all of the other draft prospect profiles we'll be doing this month. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field 68 content.